A month before the most feared warlord in Japan died, he sent for a painter. He wanted a portrait made, then gave an order no one understood. Leave out the face. Paint a cup of sake where the head should be. His name was Uesugi Kenshin, the god of war, and he had never lost a battle that counted. Why would such a man erase himself? To understand that cup, you have to go back 50 years, to a province buried in snow. Echigo, on the cold northern coast, where winter seals the mountain roads for months at a time. Kenshin was born there in 1530, the youngest son of a warrior house, and given the name Torachiyo, tiger child. But the world offered him no soft place to grow up. His father died when he was still small, and his family tore itself apart over who would rule. The boy was sent away, handed to the monks of a mountain temple at the age of 7. For 7 years, that temple was his whole world, Zen, scripture copied by candlelight, long hours sitting still while the snow climbed the walls. He was a quiet, bookish child who loved the writing brush far more than the sword. Then, at 14, the clan came back for him. His older brother had fallen sick and could no longer hold Echigo, so the boy who never asked to fight set down the brush, took up a blade, and quietly stepped into his brother's place. He was terrifyingly good at it. Before he was 30, he had united the whole of Echigo under one hand, and chosen the banner he would carry to his grave. A single character, brushed huge and black across the cloth. By the first sound of Bishamon Ten, the Buddhist god of war. Kenshin did not merely pray to that god. He believed he was the god's living hand on earth, sent to punish the cruel and shield the helpless. So he took holy vows. He gave up meat, and, stranger still for a lord who needed heirs, he gave up women entirely. He would never marry. He would never father a child. And a god of war needs an enemy worthy of him. Kenshin found his across the mountains, Takeda Shingen, the tiger of Karii, the sharpest military mind of the age. For more than 10 years the two men circled a single strip of flat land called Kawanakajima, a river plain fenced in by mountains. 5 times their armies gathered there. 4 of those times, they only glared across the grass and withdrew. But the 5th, in the autumn of 1561, became the bloodiest single day of the entire samurai age. That morning, Kenshin should have died. Shingen's strategist had built a trap he called the woodpecker, send half the army up the mountain at night to startle the enemy like a bird flushing an insect from a trunk, down into the jaws waiting below. It was a beautiful plan. Kenshin unmade it with his eyes. From the heights he watched the enemies cooking fires, too many of them, too much smoke for an army sitting still. He understood they were about to move in the dark, so he moved first. That night his 13,000 men crept down the slope, cloth bound over the horses' hooves to silence every step. They forded the cold Chikuemar River in the black before dawn. When the sun rose, a heavy fog lay over the plain, and Shingen's men on the mountain found nothing but empty grass, while the enemy stood already below them, an arm's length from Shingen's own tent. What happened next is the most famous image in all of samurai history. And it may be nothing more than a story that grew in the telling. The old war chronicle says Kenshin himself smashed through the guards, rode straight into the command post, and cut down at Shingen 3 times, and that Shingen, with no time to draw, caught each blow on the iron war fan in his hand. Whether it happened, no one can prove. But this is real. Kenshin fought that day with a formation his men called the turning wheel, fresh soldiers rolling forward as the tired fell back. By afternoon the plain was a slaughter. Both armies lost thousands. Shingen's own brother lay among the dead. And when the smoke thinned, neither man had gained a single step of ground. Here is what the banners never told you about the god of war. Twice in his life, he tried to quit, once simply announcing he was finished, that he would climb the mountains, shave his head, and vanish into a temple. His own retainers had to ride after him and beg him to come home. The most feared soldier in Japan kept trying to walk away from the killing, and could never quite manage it. And when his great rival finally died, Kenshin did not celebrate. Word came in 1573 that Shingen was gone. Kenshin, they say, wept over his meal and set down his chopsticks. He had lost the one worthy man in all Japan, he said, and would never see his like again. His officers urged him to crush the leaderless Takeda. He refused to rob a dead man's house. The only man alive who had ever truly matched him was the enemy he had spent 20 years trying to kill. Losing him left Kenshin more alone than any defeat could. So he drank. He always drank. On campaign he carried a tall-footed cup, made to be tipped back in the saddle, and emptied it into the snow to warm his chest. In 1577, by a river called Taidari, he broke a huge Oda army sent north under one of Nobunaga's best generals. For a moment it seemed the god of war might march on the capital. He never got the chance. In the spring of 1578, with the largest army of his life already gathering, Kenshin suddenly collapsed. The old tales say it took him in the privy. The likeliest truth is quieter, a stroke, the price of a lifetime of sake and salt, come due at last. He lingered 4 days, and the undefeated god of war was gone at 48. And now the faceless portrait makes sense. The poem he left behind, 49 years, he wrote, gone like a single night's dream, a whole life of glory, no more than 1 cup of sake. A man who had won everything looked back and saw only a drink cooling in the cold. That was the secret of the god of war, not a woman, not a demon, but a monk in armor. The loneliest man in Japan, who defended everyone and kept no one. And the proof came cruelly. He left no son of his own body, only 2 adopted boys. His nephew Kagekatsu, and Kagetora, a hostage prince he had loved enough to give his own childhood name. 2 brothers, once close as any family he ever had. Within weeks of the funeral, they went to war over his empty seat, the same clan banners turned against each other, one house tearing itself in 2. And the boy who carried Kenshin's own name lost. Betrayed and abandoned, Kagetora took his own life in a lonely border castle, and his wife, Kenshin's own niece, died there beside him. The man remembered above all for his honor left 2 sons who destroyed each other, and a house that never rose again to what it had been. He won nearly every battle he ever fought, and could not win the one quiet thing he wanted most, a family, a peace, a life outside the armor. So if you had every victory a man could want, and no one to share it with, would you call that a life well lived, or the emptiest cup of all? Tell me in the comments, I read every one. If Kenshin's story stayed with you, subscribe. Tales of Old Japan brings a new story every Sunday, Wednesday, and Saturday. The god of war is still waiting.